it's BlueZenigame, and welcome back to another Zarbicast. With me, I have, as always, Captain Zarbi.
Why don't you do like Akuma says and die 1,000 deaths?
Gerps.
Why is Mitsurugi so retarded?
The Love Slug.
Hey, it's me.
And, of course, our hopefully permanent guest, PSI Majora.
What is up, everybody?
Alright, everyone. So, really what this podcast is going to be about is EVO, because that's what's currently happening at this very moment in time. And for the most part, I'm going to let Captain Zarbi take the lead on this one, because I'm not much of an EVO expert in any shape or fashion. So why don't you get us started, Captain?
Okay, basically for anyone that doesn't know, EVO is the biggest fighting game tournament in the US, and top players and no names come from all over the country to Vegas for this first weekend in July to just play. The games featured this year are King of Fighters 13, Soul Calibur 5, Mortal Kombat 9, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Super Street Fighter Arcade Edition 2012, and Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
That is a lot of games.
Yeah, as you can tell, most are Capcom games. Yeah, take that as you will.
So what are the prizes for these?
They vary, but normally it's just cash. And then I know one year they gave out they were like these gold tournament edition fight sticks with the EVO logo on them. They were pretty cool.
What's the biggest cash prize? And for what game?
I'm not sure in the history, but I know Virtua Fighter 5, which is they run side games at the tournament too, and side tournaments for the games that weren't popular enough to get in for full-fledged games. And Virtua Fighter, Sega is throwing in, I believe, 15,000 into the pot. So
wow.
that'll be split among the top. I want to say 8 finishers, but I'm not sure on that. But Sega's throwing in that on top of, I don't know how many people entered, but they take money from everyone who entered. There's like a little entry fee, and then that goes into the pot too. And if you finish in the top, you split that among the other winners.
Jeez.
So there's potential for a nice prize for first place this year then for Virtua Fighter.
Oh, definitely. There's some killers there. There's some really good Japanese Virtua Fighter players there.
And what was that announcement that they did for that tournament they'll be doing, that the prize is $25,000? Or was it Street Fighter? Or I forget.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken tournament for Street Fighter's 25th anniversary. Really, it's Capcom's way of trying to get people back into the game. People are leaving it in droves.
And of course, there was a lack of announcement from Marvel, the big rumored Marvel.
I don't really know if it's a lack of announcement. I can't say that it was supposed to be an announcement at all.
Well, a lot of people didn't believe
just
it.
got duped.
I feel disappointed in myself because I went from knowing it was someone trolling to wanting it to be true, and then to finding out it really was just a troll.
Captain, did you see the link I posted after, how he the Twitter feed, he changed his profile picture to the troll face?
I went back to Anonymous's Twitter, and where there used to be a UMBC3 logo, now there's just a troll face.
With a name like Anonymous, we should have known from the get-go.
I give him credit. He vented on his reason for doing it. Not to say that it wasn't completely retarded and stupid, but
Wait, he gave a reason?
yeah, he's mad at Capcom because they don't include enough in their games, like Tekken Tag 2 is going to be doing. He feels like they're taking out way too much stuff and offering it as DLC, and he's just mad, and he claims he made up the rumors because he wanted it to be true.
It's bull too, because they even addressed the DLC issue, during that Capcom panel, saying that, we're trying to save hard drive space. No, you're not. You're just trying to get some more money out of us by nickel and diming us for stuff that should have been in the game.
No one should believe them, and people will. People will continue to believe what they say, and I don't know why. Because I think back to when Ultimate rumors leaked for that, and Capcom USA especially, they were adamant that it was fake. These people were just coming up with rumors, only for us to have like all the character art and a bunch of rumors just like pop up the next day. And then it was at that point they couldn't deny it anymore, and I couldn't help but think like, what's the point of saying straight up it's a lie? It's the truth. You can kind of find a way to dance around it better, I think, rather than just saying it's a lie.
Yeah, just like the whole how Xbox always says they do not comment on speculation or whatever. Just one of those even would be better.
Just like no comment, or there's no plans right now. Something like that, rather than just flat out no, they're lying.
So wait, if I remember correctly, even with the initial MVC3 release, Jill and Schumer were on disc too, weren't they?
Oh yeah, they were on disc.
Yeah.
Do you think?
I believe in Jill's case though, the moveset wasn't complete.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I have the strategy guide to Vanilla, and they didn't have all her data because it wasn't complete yet.
Oh, okay. So do you think there's any truth in the statement they made where they understand, quote unquote, that the on-disc DLC upset a lot of people, and that they're going to do their best to not use that approach anymore? Do you think there's any truth in that?
No, people are gonna buy the DLC in droves, and they'll forget all about it. Capcom will just say, well, they don't care that much. They all went out and bought it.
That's why I find it odd that they went out of their way to say, we're not going to do that. We understand. We're not going to do that anymore. We promise.
And see, that's one thing that really bothers me, is that all these people will complain about on-disc DLC, but then they'll keep fucking buying it. They keep buying it, and it's not going to change anything.
Nope.
But a lot of times you don't, like, you know, when you're a fan of the thing, like, you're not going to just straight up petition it just because it's there. If you really want it, you're going to get it regardless.
I feel like Capcom doesn't really know what they're doing, like, as of late, because they're doing the DLC thing too, but then, like, weren't there like 2 Mega Man games that they announced? They had trailers for, they had like all this gameplay stuff, and then they just dropped it. They just dropped it like something like it was a bomb. They're just like, this is a bad idea, just stop it right now. Like, I feel like they don't even know what they're doing. They're like running out of ideas or something.
That's true, but let's save that for another day.
Yeah, I don't think we want to get into that right now.
Capcom knows exactly what they're doing, though, honestly, because they're making money, and at the end of the day, that's all that really matters to them.
Yeah, I mean, it is a business, but just
it's already a way of doing it.
The thing I was most upset about is them pretty much saying that they're not going to do anything to fix Ultimate. They think it's fine and it's complete as is, and they're not going to do anything to change it.
That's what bugged me the most, because I thought, didn't they had say before that they were going to try to fix the Infinite glitch, and now it's like, no, no more patches. We're going to leave it as is.
Someone tweeted that they were right on it. As soon as it broke out that next day, he was on Twitter saying he was getting his team ready, and they were right on it, ready to patch it. Then out of nowhere today, he just drops that they decided Marvel's about freedom and creativity, so there's no reason to patch it out.
I missed that part of the conference, so they're just not going to patch them out at all?
Nope.
No. TAC Infinites are they're just there now.
Well, that's very interesting.
I mean, yeah, it does make a couple of more characters a bit more viable for tournaments, but those characters should have been viable to begin with if you want a more balanced game anyways.
It was funny how the game just kind of started breaking open like this, right, leading up to EVO, but in all honesty, this wasn't like the final nail in its coffin. The game was long busted before this.
Oh yeah, it's been a mess ever since, really since it hit.
Some people are taking these Infinites as like, you know, like, oh, that's it, no more Capcom, can't take it anymore, and I'm like, This game has been long broken and busted in several cases long before this. Just something I'll talk about when we get more into the gameplay of the games at EVO.
Yeah, Wesker alone speaks volumes.
Wesker's problem is he's not so much broken as in they made a character that's so good that fits anywhere on any team, to the point where it over-centralizes the metagame.
Exactly. It begs the question, why would you use anybody else when you can just use the guy who's going to win you games?
Yes, he's still retarded in this version. He's not as stupid because he doesn't have that X Factor gunshot loop thing going on.
Thank God.
Or the full screen hit confirms off of the Samurai Edge shot. But he is, make no mistake, he is still stupid. And the main problem with him is just that he's way too good for most people to ignore.
Going back to what you said about like MVC3 being like broken since it kind of like came out, I'm not too sure if this is true or not. But wasn't Sentinel like really cheap with like I think it was his assist, like his missiles or something like that?
Oh,
It was
kept up
his
using
Sentinel
it.
team, wasn't it?
His assist. And I've been playing a lot more Ultimate, and more than ever, especially with that health drop, he's really nothing more than a huge target, so people don't play him anymore. But in Vanilla, I found him to be a bit of a problem. The game's kind of over centralized on him too, and that just about any team you would face had the drones assist, and that drones assist it's so annoying to fight against in some cases because it can turn a point character into like a completely new character. Like that characters that have trouble getting in and approaching, like they don't have that problem at all anymore. When you add that on top of someone like Vanilla Wolverine, you had a recipe for retardation.
Oh God.
Oh my god, I remember Wolverine.
Vanilla Wolverine. That was nightmarish.
I don't know what they
the
were
hell
thinking when they thought making Otto like mix up character who can just instantly just go past projectiles and be right behind you.
Going back to Vanilla, we should talk about Phoenix too. Phoenix is a real.
I don't really want to harp on Vanilla because that's all in the past, and Ultimate's the main focus now. But yeah, let's take this time, I guess, to kind of go over the games there. Mostly the featured ones. I do want to mention some of the side ones because that's an important discussion I want to bring up later. But definitely, I want to talk about the featured games and their gameplay.
Before we get into it, I did want to ask: is Skullgirls a side tournament?
Yes.
Okay.
Sponsored by Reverge Labs.
I wanted to make sure.
Honestly, after playing that one more, I'm not as mad about it not being a featured game.
Well, I don't think it's ready, like you've said before. Like
No.
it's not quite what Mike Z wanted
I
it
used
to
to be mad that SFT got in there and Skullgirls didn't, but it was kind of for the best. But anyway, just to get this out of the way, the first game let's start with Street Fighter 4.
Here we go.
I think you know how we all feel about this game.
Street Fighter 4, the Chinese connection.
Every year
You can't
this
take
game
anyone outside them and like expect to do really well in a tournament unless you're just that good.
every year this game draws in like the biggest crowd at Evo and the most entrants, and I for the life of me cannot understand why, especially after Ono's comment I believe before the 2012 update, that they made Arcade Edition pretty much broken on purpose. That
Yeah.
he said that Yoon and all the stupid characters and AE, that he made them that way. He made them stupid on purpose because he feels like it adds something to the game. I guess in his mind, the way he was putting it, it was almost like having this like tyrant or something that you couldn't really beat, and that maybe everyone would come together and find out a way to beat this strategy or this character. And that's the essence of fighting games, but I don't feel like you make a fighting game broken on purpose. I think you do what like KOF did, and you make every character viable in their own way. They all have something that makes them good or unique.
Well, you should be able to pick whoever you want. Like you should be able to pick like your favorite character and still expect to be able to compete fairly with other people.
That's a concept lost on the community, though. They don't go on just about any Shoryuken story or thread about balance, and it's scoffed at. Everyone just laughs at the idea. And I've seen posts several times of just why do you even want balance, which just baffles me. It baffles me why people would want to spend $60 on the game in the first place and spend an ungodly amount of hours practicing it to get good with characters you want to use, but the game system works against those characters. Those characters aren't good enough.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. It bothers me a great deal that it seems like nobody really wants to play the characters they like, because the characters they like are the ones that are the most powerful, the ones that are gonna get them the wins. And it disturbs me a little that that's how they want the game to be built, and that's why they like Capcom so much.
And Ultimate is still as many problems as it has. It did fix that problem from Vanilla, where you were just seeing like the same teams or slight variations of like the top teams. And at least in Ultimate, I know for sure in my like studying of the game, there's about a good 20 characters in Ultimate that can really do some damage compared to what I would argue is in Vanilla was maybe centralized on 10 that were really out there and that you could really see were good.
If that many, shit. Like there were so many of like the exact same like team builds. Like maybe they'll have like one person different, but for the most part, it was almost always the exact same fucking team.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really want to harp on Vanilla that much, but they did. I will give them that they did honestly improve on that front on the move from Vanilla to Ultimate. But
Yeah.
my main problem with MVC3, I mean, I've waited so long for this game. I've been playing 2 since I was a kid. My main problem with it is the fact that really it's just it's X Factor. To be honest, that's my main problem with the game. I feel like it takes so much of the skill and ability out of the game. I feel like it honestly it just does. You like, I mean, look at your typical anchor. What's a typical anchor gonna be? It's gonna be Akuma, Wesker, let's see, Hawkeye,
Virgil,
Doctor Doom, you have Virgil in many cases.
Dormammu too.
Yep, true, Dormammu. Amaterasu too is a really popular one.
Oh
And
god.
I just hate it because the idea that you could be just getting absolutely destroyed by someone, and X Factor gives you that chance to come back, and it's almost like an unfair win. It's almost like you really didn't deserve it as much as the person who puts in more work with their team and practices harder. Because I mean, this game's not anywhere near as random as Marvel 2 was, because the speed is it's a lot slower than Marvel 2. But it's just the fact that you could get hit by just one little random hit in Ultimate, like, and I mean that not as like someone who's clearly like fishing for their hit confirm or something. I mean someone who's literally just throwing stuff out, hoping it hits. Or you just happen to think you see an opening and you go for it, you get hit. Well, you can pretty much say goodbye to that character. I don't know. I tried to embrace it at first because I'm like, every fighting game has their own mechanics to it. They all have something that makes them special. I don't want to sit here and say, oh, Marvel should be more like KOF or should be more like Skullgirls, because that would just be stupid. I like that they all differentiate themselves in a special way, but I just feel like X Factor was the wrong way to go.
Yeah, I think the main problem is the touch of death combos. It's bullshit that like the whole game orientates like around being able to kill a character in one fucking combo.
That's what I hated. They fixed that a little bit in Ultimate compared to Vanilla, where if your team could not one-touch kill, it was ass, and you had to resort to using a team that could. You weren't gonna get that far with the team that couldn't one-touch kill. Whereas at least in Ultimate, zoning is stronger. And for those of you out there who aren't familiar with the term, zoning just means like controlling space. It would be a character like Morgan or Hawkeye, like throwing out your fireballs or arrows and just kind of keeping your opponent at bay, keeping them where you want them.
Going back to X Factor, I feel like the term as a comeback mechanic, I feel like it's not doing that. Like you said, it's like a, oh well, I'm screwed, I'm gonna lose, but if I do X Factor, I win. And that's why when Cross Tekken came out and they had Pandora, I liked that a lot more because it was more of a gamble. Like you can't just press a button to win. That's what X Factor feels like to me, and Pandora felt a little more balanced in that sense.
That's true.
Mechanic.
Yeah, there should be a drawback to using something like that.
My problem with Pandora is it's almost to the point where it's useless. You have a very low chance of actually getting off that full Pandora combo before it kills you.
Yeah, that's why
that's my problem.
There should be like a happy medium between the two if you're gonna have a comeback mechanic like that.
Like comeback mechanics to me in any fighting game I've played so far would be Baroque in TVC and HD mode in KOF 13.
Yeah, I like HD mode a lot.
Oh, Baroque combos are really fucking cool.
You have to admit at its core in KOF that is a comeback mechanic, But the one thing I like about it, you can't just raw activate HD mode and then like expect something to happen like you can with X Factor. HD mode, if you want to get the most out of it, you have to know your stuff. You have to know your combos. You have to know what you're doing. And really, that's part of the reason I love KOF so much. You practice hard enough, you really do get rewarded for it. Whereas in Marvel, it's the same thing, but in most cases, it's really dependent on the characters you're playing. There's some characters in Marvel that just aren't good. They're not good, and you lose that one character in a match, there goes your whole game plan. Whereas compared to KOF, you have your 3 characters, you're playing them all separate, no assists, nothing like that, and if you're better than someone, it is made very clear that you're better than them in KOF.
I like that in KOF, it's like, yeah, there's tiers, but they don't really mean anything. Everybody's viable.
No.
Like, from my understanding, the tiers are more for just their normals, right?
Yeah, kind of. Well, it's also their ability to do damage. Like, some are placed lower, like Terry, because the idea is that he needs meter to really do damage and do what he needs to do. So that's also kind of affecting some people's thinking on their various tier lists.
But with a game like Marvel, like I mean, I know you can attest personally, you've played characters that you like as a character, but they're just terrible. Like, you can't play them if you want to win.
The biggest disappointment to me was Shinko.
I really wanted to be able to play Shinko.
I am a huge Vampire Savior fan, and I oftentimes say that I think it's the greatest fighting game out there. I think it gives any fighting game fan everything they want in a fighting game. But I hated to see like how horrible that character was in that game after I'd waited so long. On the bright side, Morrigan's really, really good in Ultimate, so that's eased it a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah, because Felicia is up there, isn't she? I don't remember.
Felicia's pretty good.
Felicia's one of the characters I'd put in the top 20 that can actually, really do some damage. I actually want to, from this point on, I want to be less like erratic with the conversation. So let's just kind of focus on Ultimate for now. And I just kind of want to run down like the 20 or so characters that I think are really good in the game and that can really do some damage. And I just kind of want you guys to sound off on it.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's see. First, I'd say we have Firebrand, Virgil, Frank West, Ryu, Dante, Zero, Wesker, Morgan, Trish, Felicia, Spencer, Akuma, Beautiful Joe, Sea Viper, Amaterasu, Hager, Hawkeye, Nova, Cap, Dormammu, Doctor Doom, Wolverine, Storm, X-23, Super Skrull, Spider-Man, Taskmaster, Magneto. There's one I'm kind of iffy on. I kind of want to throw Doctor Strange in there, but in all honesty, his normals are so bad to the point where I feel like he has the potential, and maybe we haven't found it yet. But I'm a little hesitant to throw him on a list right now.
I'd agree.
Like top 20, top 30 characters that can really do some hurt.
He has nice potential, but the thing is, you'll get destroyed before you can even get in there.
Like, almost everything you do with him is unsafe, especially that launcher.
God, that fucking launcher's so bad.
I definitely agree with that.
I put a lot of work into him when the game came out because I really planned to play him, but he was just so slow. I mean, yeah, he has a teleport, which honestly is the one thing keeping him back from being just horrible, is the fact he has that teleport. But I mean, no air dash. I don't know. On the bright side, the only thing I can say is well, at least he has flight and he has a teleport.
Captain Zarbi, do you feel that the rise of all these infinites, the TAC infinites, do you feel that changes that list at all in terms of viability?
No, not necessarily, because I feel like some of the ones that have one and it's easy, they were already pretty good, like Frank West.
Yeah,
Like,
Frank's is probably one of the best ones.
I think we may start seeing more use of Frank West now that people know the TACs aren't getting taken out. They'll probably want to practice. He has a really easy TAC. I practiced it myself, and it's incredibly easy. And he was already a strong character. I know people place him low because of his leveling subsystem, but in all honesty, I'm looking at what they have on paper already. Like the fact that he can do that. You can get him to that level in a match. And, you know, so many people have various texts based around, like, getting Frank to level 5 in, like, one combo, to the point where it's commonplace now, where I don't think you can dock Frank anymore for his little gameplay.
Yeah, because, like, once you get him to, like, level 2, he's gone. You're gonna probably get screwed over at that point.
Oh, yeah. And some of these characters I really wish were better, but Capcom kind of made the stupid decision of quote unquote keeping them true to their game, the games they come from. And number one case of that is Arthur. This is a character that could be so good in this game if they actually made him faster, like gave him a dash, maybe an air dash, I don't know, but at least a ground dash or just something to give him more mobility. This character would be a lot better, but right now, it's almost to the point where he's unplayable because he's just so slow.
Yeah, there's like nothing he can do. Like, oh yeah, I can throw knives and shit all over the screen. Like, yeah, but most people play teleporters. They're just gonna pop behind you and launch off a combo.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Now more than ever in Ultimate, I know I mentioned Dr. Doom. He is a real heavy player right now in the metagame. Like every 2 matches, I'd say you're seeing a Doom team.
But that assist alone makes him incredibly viable.
Oh god,
very aggravating.
And in all honesty, like I understand the assist is good. Of course, people are gonna use it. I'm not really gonna knock anyone for using it, but I honestly find the assist to be stupid because I don't know how many times I've seen someone about to get like just really punished for making a stupid mistake, but they're saved because of the missiles.
Exactly.
They threw the missiles out so they could.
Yeah, like remember that one game I think we were actually just watching some Xbox Live matches. That one kid couldn't do a single fucking combo. All they did was sit there and do fucking missiles. The whole fight and ended up winning.
Yeah,
in all honesty,
he won like
though,
8 out of 10 matches.
More to his opponent. Because in all honesty, a Doom just sitting there doing hidden missiles and no assist to back him, that's honestly not hard to beat. I feel like that honestly speaks more to the opponent. But I think about the other day at the FGTV house when Filipino Champ was playing Abigan and some of the Japanese players. There were several times where he was about to get punished bad for making a stupid mistake, but he had those last few Doom missiles that had gotten called out, and they saved him on several occasions.
It's just bull. Like, you shouldn't be able to just dominate because of one fucking character.
No, but yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the characters I mentioned obviously take a lot more work than others, I think, to be affected, namely Crimson Viper. I attempted some training with that character, and that was not fun for me.
Oh yeah, if y'all see a good Sea Viper, give that person props because she is hard as hell.
Give them credit. She just might be the hardest character to play in the game. That's questionable because in my eyes, it's Chun-Li, and even then, at least Sea Viper is top tier. Chun-Li isn't. Sea Viper has a lot more tools than Chun-Li to open people up. And
yeah, Chun-Li doesn't do nearly as much damage either.
Oh no, you in most cases compared to Sea Viper combos, you're doing like twice the execution for Chun-Li for about half the damage. But I mean, yeah, all I can say is at least in this one, I can see about 20 to 25 characters out of the 52
characters
in this game that are actually like just good based off, on paper what they have.
I mean, yeah, it's a step up. Like 2, we had what, 4 or 5 characters you could use.
Yeah,
Vanilla
2.
Marvel.
I'd
we had
argue
10.
at most we had like 10 to 15 that were really viable and usable. Yeah, but I mean, largely vanilla boiled down to teams that were just variations of being built around Wolverine, Akuma, or Phoenix. That was about it.
Yeah, that was pretty much every team you would see.
You still would see Wesker, but his play really picked up in the first few months of Ultimate.
He wasn't quite a monster yet.
It's waning off a little bit actually in favor of Virgil. So I don't know what it'll look like a couple of months from now, but I don't know if I really have much else to say on Marvel. It's not really my favorite of the current fighters out there. So anyone else got anything to say on that front?
It's a fun game. I like to play it.
Yeah, it's fun, but you have to admit it is kind of unbalanced.
Give it fun. You do give it credit. It is fun, but I feel it's very unbalanced.
A love-hate relationship. That's what I'd give it.
I also think it helps people who've like never played fighting games before with its like simple mode. It helps people who've like never played the games just like jump in. They can kind of like a button mash a little bit, but it still has some form to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, true. Yeah, it's like it is a good like entry, I guess, into fighting games. But the only thing about it, you pick up a lot of bad habits if you go from Marvel trying to play something else. So.
And for the next one, I want to talk about. I think I'm gonna bring up a big surprise in that this was a game that when it got announced, for going to EVO, it had a lot of hype surrounding it. And now that we're finally here, it's probably actually the most hated game at EVO, and that's Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I haven't had enough time to sit down and really practice the game like I had planned to, but in all honesty, initially I wasn't seeing what all the hate was. I thought it was a really good game, and there were hiccups here and there. There were some stupid stuff in the game that needed fixing, and what really started to kill it in the eyes of the community was Capcom tried to fix those problems, and in fixing those problems, every single time they made the game worse. Notably right now with the glitch where if Rolento throws if he throws one of his throwing knives and it hits a fireball like Ryu's Hadouken, the game just freezes right there on the spot.
Time to restart that Xbox.
Oh god, yeah. I actually had it happen to me online once. It was stupid. I don't believe they've patched it yet either.
No, they haven't. They were saying in the panel that they were going to be working on that. It seems like Capcom's really focused more on Cross Tech, and they're trying to make it successful somehow.
They want it to be, but I can't really go into more depth on this. I've only played so much of it so far. I've been focused on other games as of late, but I hope to really dive into it soon and really see all the game has to offer, because in all honesty, in my eyes right now, this is on paper, this is the best offering Capcom's given us as a competitive fighter in a long time. Next is something that most of us here have played, and that is Mortal Kombat 9.
That game pissed me off at finally. God damn it.
This game is really hated among a lot of EVO goers because so many of them are hardcore Capcom fans, and I've seen a lot of them that just tend to hate Mortal Kombat out of principle. I don't really understand why.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I guess it's because it's not Capcom.
They don't like any game that isn't Capcom and it's a fighting game.
This game I give credit because it was NRS's first true attempt at making like a MK game with the competitive community in mind. I'm not saying there's been other MK games that have been played competitively, but this is the first one where, NRS was working directly with the community to see what they wanted out of the game and what they could do to make it more competitive. And I gotta say, it was a pretty good attempt. It was a pretty
Yeah, I
good.
have to give them credit. They did honestly try their best with the game, but we'll get into what's been annoying me about this game soon. Here, I guess. I guess
Yeah.
Captain Zarbi will lead us into it.
Because the game, it has been successful in tournaments and the like, but and before we really get into discussing why this game has disappointed us as of late, I do want to point out that to this day, I still honestly believe this game has the best meter system out of any fighting game I've ever
definitely
played.
has the
Agreed.
best,
Agreed.
By
meter system.
far. I was really impressed with NRS on that front. I was like, this was their first attempt at a truly competitive game, and they delivered a meter that's better than any other fighter I've ever played. You have your basically with the meter, what you can do is you have your EX attacks, something like Street Fighter or KOF, where it's a stronger version of one of your normal special moves. Then you had your breakers, which were basically a way for you to get out of combos, which I honestly feel like is important in fighting games. It stops it. It gives you the chance to come back, but it's not. I wouldn't consider it as like, it's not brain dead. Something like X Factor with the projectile character or something.
Yeah, I feel like
it's just a way to get out of combos and maybe like get an offense mounted. Basically, that's what I liked about it.
the criticism that's got has been like, oh, well, it punishes you for doing a combo, and I don't feel that's true. I feel it gives the player a chance to kind of recover, and then if you fuck up again, that's your fault.
Yeah, because all you got to do, if you don't want them to break your combo, start up, like, I guess, just start doing your combo and they break it, like, okay, cool, now they don't have meter, go for that combo again. Like, it's just a way to keep the game a bit more balanced. That way, it's without the breaker. Like, there's some characters that'll be completely unplayable.
Oh, absolutely,
yeah, definitely. And the last thing you can use your meter for is X-ray attacks, which are just kind of like supers in any other game. But since it's Mortal Kombat, they're really like gory and over the top. And although as the game started to evolve, those really got less useful, and you won't really see those being used in a match more. It's generally more important to keep your meter for breakers, and just rely on your regular B&B combos.
To add to what you're saying, I guess positive things about the game is as somebody, I believe I'm the only one who played the 3D games between like Mortal Kombat 4 and up to 9. And
I played a couple.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, those weren't very good. They weren't very good competitively really just as games in general. And I feel like 9 was a very good return to form, and I'm happy to see it's come back to what it used to be. And I hope that when we inevitably get Mortal Kombat 10, it's just as good, if not better.
It really was like a breath of fresh air with 9. Like that. Like I really do have to give them credit again. Like they honestly attempted to try to balance that game as much as they could. Like there were some characters that were unplayable at first, and now they're like upper tier or top tier. There are some though that I wish they had, worked on a little bit more, like Jade.
But now let's get into where they actually messed up, where I think all of us here agree was Cabal.
Oh my god.
Cabal. That shit is retarded. Like I remember when that shit first started happening when I was still here in Houston. I go over to U of H periodically to play fighting games with them, and one of the guys there, he's really good at most of these fighting games, and he can do the Cabal rushdown. Like we were practicing, like all right, how do we defend ourselves against this? So we were practicing it, and there's literally no way out of it. Like once it starts, like put that controller down, because you're gonna either get chipped out or you're gonna get hit and die. So you just kind of lose the match right there.
And I know, just in case, I don't think any Test Your Might members will be listening in, but I know they will, and I'm just gonna tell you now, just save it. I saw the Tom Brady thread a little while ago telling people to stop complaining about Cabal and let's come back together as a group, and typical stuff. Only scrubs complain about Cabal. But I ask again, what is so wrong with wanting something to be balanced? What is so wrong with wanting something to not be stupid and not be brain dead? But
I mean, yeah, we might sound like parrots going off like this, but what is wrong with balance? I can't understand. I can't wrap it like my brain around it. Like even my friends that don't play fighting games whatsoever, like we were playing Marvel the other day, and it's just like they were asking me like, why is this game so unbalanced? Like they can see how unbalanced it is, and like it was like their first time playing it.
yeah, I don't know. It's a mentality I'll never understand, and I really should just stop questioning it. But yeah, I mean this game has gone through its series of characters that just had absolutely like stupid setups. I feel in my mind, Cyrax for one. Definitely Cyrax.
Those bomb resets.
That net, Jesus.
That net is so stupid. I mean, these are just characters who literally had very little drawback to what they were doing, especially against specific characters, which I hated. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. We had Kano. How could I forget about Kano?
That stupid knife.
Where that patch made it possible for him to have the like extremely brain dead and stupid approach of throw the knife and then do his Kano ball.
Yeah,
basically.
That's what it was.
Kano ball is fucking dumb.
Oh, it was beyond annoying and it was beyond stupid in my eyes.
The fact that his B&B was one fucking button, I cannot wrap my brain around that shit. It's so stupid.
I wouldn't say they were broken, but they definitely pissed me off to no end, and that was Sub-Zero and Noob and Smoke. They
oh
set
my
me up
god!
the wall. And I feel like
Smoke.
I don't want to feel like I'm complaining because you could beat them, but they were ridiculous sometimes, and it pissed me off so much.
I feel like Noob, it was, once you really analyze them, Noobs were easy. Noob Cybot players were really easy to beat.
Yeah, I think Noob was the least of the, I guess out of the three, he was the least threatening.
Yeah.
In a way.
But oh my god, Smoke, especially that first week with me, that was brutal.
Oh my god.
Against Smoke players, it was beyond brutal. How could we forget Johnny Cage too? If we're gonna talk about characters that just had like
he has
clear
ridiculous
advantages.
recovery. Ridiculous.
It's straight retarded.
Another character whose B&B is one fucking button. Like, you don't even have to push a direction. You get them in the corner and you mash fucking Y over and over and over again and hit them 8 times. Oh yeah, 35% combo, yay!
And the fact it's not like you could really play defensively against him because he could just as easily throw out his slime ball was a way of pretty much making you come at him.
Out, then he gets in close and just beats your ass.
Exactly. It was his way of making you stop blocking and coming at him. That's just another example of a character who, while he may not have been completely broken, I think with Cabal we've seen broken, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Johnny was just one of those characters that they made him too good, and it felt so unfair because chances are the character you were playing was very lacking in comparison, and you just think, okay, if they gave Johnny this much attention, why couldn't they give my character as much attention? Why couldn't Sector get more attention?
Yeah, you tried maining Sector for a while. I remember that, and
he's not bad, in all honesty. He's still a good character.
Because you would legitimately get wins because you practice so hard. But I remember times where you would just get screwed out of a win because of cheap stuff, and I think that was a huge problem with the game.
Oh, definitely. And okay, now I think let's drop this MK9 discussion and let's move on to a game that we like rave about all the time, and that's KOF 13 or King of Fighters 13 for people who don't follow the series. You have anything to say on this, GURPS, before I get into it?
In my opinion, I think it's the best 2D fighter. Not ever, but currently it is like the best. Like, I think, and like really in standings, I think this is just like probably maybe like a step down. Like just it's like right underneath Street Fighter 3, like Third Strike and everything, because Third Strike had a better, I think they had a bit better of a combat mechanic with the parries, because that way you could get out of combos and shit. But KOF, like when I lose it on that game, I don't feel like I like this. Oh man, I should just change characters now or something. Like I lost because I was just not as good as the other person. Like I can never really complain about losing on there.
No, I feel the same way. What about you, Love Slug?
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, you guys are definitely way more into fighters than me, but I'm not good at them, but I know that's because I don't devote myself to them like you guys do.
Yeah.
But with KOF, I can see that like when I was doing something, it was honest. That's what I like about KOF. It's probably the most honest fighting game out right now. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do the combos. It's hard to do everything in that game. But it's rewarding to be able to do it, and I feel like that's how the fighting game should be built. It shouldn't be just I did the stupid cheap shit that everybody else can do. No, you worked for what you won, and I feel like that's how it should be.
Yeah,
there isn't like one character that you can pick like in Street Fighter. You can just pick like any of the Shotos and know exactly what to do, and it'll always fucking work. Like you don't have that option in KOF. Like you actually have to kind of practice your characters.
We can't get too carried away though. KOF does have its top tier and pretty brain dead characters. Case in point, Benny Maru, Shinwoo, mainly for console. I don't really want to talk about arcade. That's in the past, but arcade was really over centralized. But I mean, console still has its fairly stupid characters that can do a lot of damage with relative ease. But I mean, in this game, in several cases, in several fights, it feels more like it's an option rather than you feel like if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, like an obligation.
Play a top tier. I've never once felt like I need to switch to Benny Maru or Shinwoo in my team somewhere. Just not because they're characters I don't really care about. In KOF, I only play characters I like and I care about, and I never once felt like switching to them just to get wins or something, because their play styles don't really agree with me.
And even because you don't need to, because the characters you're playing are still very viable, and if you work hard, you can take care of that.
Everyone in this game is good. They have something that makes them good, and that's the most important thing. The mechanics are downright awesome. Like I mentioned earlier, HD mode. For those who don't know, HD mode is basically, it's like a custom combo mode. You go in and it's you can kind of think of it as like a loop in Marvel, but to make like an HD combo combo, there's certain moves where you can't let the full animation finish. Like you'll have to let the first hit go through and then cancel it to another move, and then do the first hit of that previous move again and then cancel it to another move, something like that. And you can end it with the super, and I think this game honestly has some of the flashiest combos I've seen in any fight.
Most definitely.
Like, you don't even have to be that great to pull off like a really cool looking fucking combo.
Oh yeah, like I can't tell you how awesome it is to see someone like land a hit confirm that into HD mode, do their HD combo, go into the desperation move, and then max cancel into the Neo Max. That has got to be like the coolest animation in any fighting game I've ever seen.
It's just awesome.
Like last night when I was at my friend's house, I was just sitting there practicing Maxima combos, and I did one that ended with his Neo Max, and my friend was, "Oh my god, that's fucking awesome!" Because like you just don't expect some of the shit to happen. Like Neskio, he literally blows up the screen with fire, like when he punches someone with his Neo Max. It just looks so damn cool.
The speed of the game is so awesome too, and basically there is for movement, just as in some people would argue that the movement is more to it than Marvel. I don't necessarily agree with that, and you consider all the air dashes and the like in Marvel, but there's basically I want to say it's four types of jumps, right, Gerbs?
Yeah, you have the hop, you have full jump, you have running, hop, running, full jump, stuff like that. Yeah, you basically have your 4 jumps in this one, and those can really that's really where almost the meat of the gameplay is, because when you're mounting an offense, your opponent
using these various jumps, like switching it up and alternating, it can really mess up your spacing. So you really have to be on your toes on this game, and you really have to learn how to adapt on the fly, because you're not always going to get that perfect hit in the position on screen you want your opponent at.
Because like, let's say like instead of doing a full jump, like a running full jump towards you, they just do a hop, and like you're doing an attack to counter a full jump, and oh look, they're like hitting you in the face while your attack is whiffing.
Yup. Yeah, I mean, we could really probably just like gleam like little schoolgirls about this game.
I would like to
add the podcast.
I would like to add, it's not really mechanic, but at the end of the day, I prefer sprites in a fighting game, and this has got to be one of the prettiest games I've ever played. KOF
Yeah, I honestly do too. I actually read a review on KOF where someone said that someone needs to tell SNK sprites don't work anymore.
But the
And like,
sprites
I
look
did
so
not
damn good.
understand that. I just did not understand that. I was like, this game, it just looks awesome. Everything about this game is awesome. But let's move on to the last featured game at EVO this year, Soul Calibur 5.
This game has pissed me off so much.
Soul Calibur 5.
I played that game. I'm still here, you guys. Yay.
Hey, who are you? Are you part of this podcast?
I don't know.
You are.
Do you have anything you'd like to share, Blue, on Soul Calibur 5, your experiences with the game before we really get into this?
I just, from a casual standpoint, I really like the customizability of all the characters. And someone needs to mute their mic. Oh my god. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I like, you know, how you can customize the crap out of everyone. I've seen so many anime characters and just random shit on there. It's just, it makes it for a good time for someone who doesn't know really what the hell they're doing with the game. And otherwise that, it's also pretty easy to get into, in my opinion, compared to like Marvel versus Capcom. I find those games a lot more complicated than Soul Calibur.
That's a good point to bring up. I'd argue about the how complicated the game is compared to Marvel, but the Create Soul stuff, it honestly was created, you know, for people that like to have, that are just more casual with the game. They're just kind of messing around. I've really gotten jaded to it though, because I've spent a lot of time practicing Soul Calibur, and in a lot of cases I hate the Create a Soul, the you know, create your own character mode, because in several matches I've had, it creates an unfair advantage. You know, it messes up the hitbox. They have a character with like Astaroth's range, but like the hitbox is a lot smaller, and it's stupid stuff like that gets me frustrated with the game.
Yeah, coming from a competitive standpoint, Creator Soul is bullshit because you get like retarded shit where, yeah, like he said, like the height and spacing is all weird. But I guess, yeah, like for the casual market, yeah, like we were gonna love like, oh shit, I can just make my own character and everything. I like doing that.
It's always been a neat thing to have in the Soul Calibur games, but I feel like there definitely should have been a mode. I mean, that can be avoided if you're going to go like play an actual person, but if you're going to be online, there should have been a mode where you could turn off Create a Soul, so basically you wouldn't have to fight them. I feel like that would have solved a huge problem that the game has.
Oh, it would have. I don't really know right now what more to say on this game other than I'm not the biggest Soul Calibur fan. Before this one, the only other one I played was 2 when I was younger, and I played maybe like 3 matches of 3 when that came out on PS2. But the game has honestly changed a lot. It's a lot more like offense and like combo oriented now.
For the worse.
Yeah, it's kind of true looking back on it. Like before, especially with 4 and the like, I never played it, but from videos of tournaments I've seen, it looked more like the game was almost like you're playing a game of chess in a way. Like you do your moves. It's not really combo oriented. Like you get a hit and you do this long drawn out combo with supers and EX moves thrown in. It was just kind of like reading your opponent and then reading them well. It was almost always like, okay, the smarter player is going to win, basically.
Yeah,
that's what I liked most about it. Like it felt like you were like somewhat doing like a virtual sword fight, And I feel like with SoCal 5, at first it kind of felt like that. Then we started seeing the game evolve a little bit, people getting better with certain characters. But then we had Natsu fucking show up and like, oh look, now she's absolutely stupid. And then I feel like Namco really dropped the ball with the fucking patches. I think the patches just like killed the game just about, because they were supposedly balanced patches, but they buffed characters that were already really fucking good, and then they nerfed characters that were already bad, like fucking what's his name, Zwei. He's useless. You can't use him without losing, because so many of his moves are like unsafe now.
That is definitely true. This is a game where the patches hurt more than they helped, and I really hated the fact that they did that other like little secret patch right before Evo, like a month or two before Evo, because I was like, what was the point of doing this? You've already done some pretty irreparable damage to a lot of characters in this cast, and they like those patches completely swung the tiers around, like just completely. You had Viola, who was considered, in some circles, a pretty good character, but it just took a lot of work to win with.
Yeah,
and
she
now
wasn't
she
bad
does obscene damage. She does obscene damage, and she's
And I don't
arguably
know-
the best character in the game.
I don't know how many of y'all out there played Soul Calibur before, but you remember how you couldn't air control out of Hilde's combos? Imagine that with a more combo-orientated character, and you're sitting there in the air for like 30 seconds in a single fucking combo. And this is coming from someone that's been playing Siegfried since like you could play as just Siegfried by himself. Like Siegfried, he was already like low mid, because like I think Namco didn't factor in the just guards at all when they were doing these patches, because like really to nerf someone that's already really slow and vulnerable, if you just guard, they're completely open, you're gonna get your combo in or whatever. And then you nerf them, make their attacks shorter range, and then someone that has a smaller weapon has longer range than someone who has like a 6-foot fucking sword for a weapon. It's just horse shit.
Oh God, is it? Yeah, I'm right now. I don't know. I'm just at a loss on what to say for this game. So before we move on to the next thing, you have anything else to say, Love Slug, or anyone else?
I as you know, I played 4. I didn't play too much of 1 through 3, but I enjoyed 4, and it's like you said, it was a little more balanced. It rewarded the one who took their time and made the right moves. But 5, I feel like it wasn't that great from the get-go, but those patches turned it into an absolute mess. That's all I'm gonna say on it.
Okay, maybe we'll come back to Soul Cal another day once I've really gotten back into it. But for now, I think the last 2 fighting games at EVO I want to focus on. Now, mind you, these aren't featured games. These have only gotten side tournaments. So there's noticeably less limelight on these. But I would like to talk about Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown and Skullgirls. And I think first off, I want to get into Skullgirls. I think the majority of the community had been really hyped up for this game for like a good 2-3 years before it finally came out. Just because, you know, we were getting little bits and pieces about it. We were hearing about the systems. It all sounded so awesome. And in all honesty, I feel like I set my expectations too high. Because mind you, when I got the game, I absolutely loved it. I spent hours practicing it that first week. But it was almost like I expected a game like, this is what I wanted. It was just like Marvel 2, except it was balanced. And that's what I thought I was getting. I thought like, okay, here there's no stupid stuff. It's literally just who has the skill and who doesn't. And that's honestly not really what it turned out to be. This game has its fair share of stupid strategies, just like Marvel 3.
That Hornet Bomber. God, it's so dumb. And I feel like the biggest letdowns that he hasn't really been keeping up to date with the community and shit. Like he should have been paying closer attention and everything to help patch the game and shit. Cause like, do you know when are we actually getting that patch that he said we would be getting soon here?
After Evo.
Okay then. But,
I mean, in all honesty, he's been keeping up with. He's been doing just an okay job of keeping up with the community compared to before release when they were really active with it. Now it's really tapered off, but I mean, they are fixing a lot of the stupid stuff, and in all honesty, when this patch comes out, this is gonna be a whole new game, and that's honestly why I haven't practiced or played it in so long. I don't want to put any more time in with this current version because I know the game is just gonna be completely new. It's gonna be more reset focused now compared to long combo oriented. And once again, for those that don't know, a reset is basically just you're putting your opponent back in a position to get comboed again, to start another combo. And that's just from what I've been reading, that's how Mike Z always envisioned his game to play. He wanted it to be more reset oriented rather than just, you know, long touch of death combos like Marvel 3. Anyone have anything to say on that?
I do. Like the combos, like they are nice and all, and I feel like the like you said, they are fixing the infinite protection system a little bit now too, right?
Yeah,
So
it's gonna change a lot of characters' BMBs. Like I think the example they used was using like light punch again somewhere in the combo after a relaunch or something that would set it off.
Yeah, because there'd be so many times when like you'd be doing a combo and then like just because you push a button more than once, so like, oh nope, that's gonna be an infinite. No, it's not. You can't relaunch after this. Like it'll be done right there.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just really looking forward to the patch. There's a chance he's actually gonna do a 10% speed increase as well.
A 10%.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
I never felt the game was too slow, but I always did want it to be a little bit faster.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be not as fast as Marvel 2, of course, but not as slow as it did turn out to be.
Yeah, but outside of that, if you haven't checked out Skullgirls, still go pick it up. It's still an amazing game by you know, an amazing new development studio that they made this game for the community. They took our input and they gave us the cool subsystems and features that, you know, they knew we'd appreciate, basically. So still go check them out, especially after that patch hits if you don't have it, and I'm sure we'll probably talk about it more on another episode. But yeah, Evo got started today. It's going pretty strong. I mean, it's bigger than it's ever been. If you would have asked me back in like 2006, around then when I really got into like you know, the website Shoryuken and the like, and following these things, I would have never believed that we'd be getting just a stream of pool matches for a game hitting like 40,000-50,000 viewers. I never would have believed.
It's so ridiculous how big the numbers have gotten over these last couple of years. I think I only started watching it since like freshman year when we started hanging out.
Yeah, and now grand finals hit, like they hit in the six figures. We'll have grand finals that are hitting like 100,000, 200,000 viewers. So I can only imagine what Street Fighter 4's finals numbers are gonna look like this year.
I think you've mentioned before that like fighting games in general, possibly, I imagine Evo will be the first kind of one to take it, but I feel like fighting games in general will be the first video games that could possibly be on TV as if they were a sport.
This is the genre best suited to like move on to something like ESPN and become like nationally broadcast. I feel a lot of people argue games like StarCraft and this and that. I say no to that, if only for the fact you need to know what's going on in StarCraft. You need to know the inner workings and the mechanics. With fighting games, you just see something happening on screen and it's entertaining. Like,
yeah, well, I can go to the if you know what stream monsters are, then you don't really need to explain it. But I know a lot of the people who enjoy watching Marvel, they have no idea what's going on the screen. They just like the flashing colors and the fast movement. It's like they're children, but I feel like that alone is enough to get it onto television and be popular.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
fighting games are like the closest thing to like having wrestling nowadays, where people just, they go to each other's houses, they order pizza, they get beer or soda and whatnot, and they all just have a blast watching people beat the shit out of each other, basically. I think it's the
Yeah,
closest thing to
I
that.
feel like it could be like that because I mean, like, and this is the other thing I don't understand. Like, these stream monsters don't want like esports. They like laugh at the idea. It's just, oh, why would we want the public knowing about this? Like, so you can get more support for your games, and like, I think if it ended up being on like actual TV and shit, you'd have like even bigger cash prizes and shit. You'd have more people attending because they want to try to get to those and everything. I think it would like be awesome if it would be up on TV instead of just only online.
Definitely. I look to, especially once I've graduated and I'm out of college and all that, it's trying to do whatever I can manage to do to help games get to that level. I want them to be even more in the mainstream, and I want more types of video games to be accepted, I guess, in a way. Not so much in the sense like, oh, we want people to love us and this and that. I want it to really be accepted as like a new form of entertainment, like watching fighting games and stuff. I want to be able to just turn on ESPN one day and see like a Marvel 3 tournament or a KOF 13 tournament.
Well, you mentioned the other day, Captain Zarbi, I thought it was interesting that this is like the first time really that fighting games have become something that's actually like a viable career. Like, you could actually make a living out of it just because of how
some people
large
can
the cash
actually
prizes
live
are.
off of their winnings and stuff like that. I mean, there's always the risk that you don't win. But
Oh, exactly.
now in this case, we have sponsorships, and it seems like the company sponsoring these players, they're making more and more money every single day. Every single day, they're making more and more money. And there's some players out there sponsored who are getting a salary from their team.
I think it's very similar to I don't think it's as popular now, but how skateboarding back in the 1990s when we were younger, how that was such a popular thing, and then just being good at that could get you pretty much your career. I mean, look at Tony Hawk and
skateboarding blew up in the 90s. Good lord.
That's kind of straying from the point, but I mean, I feel like it's relatable.
Yeah, it honestly is, because I think about the players themselves and how they've pretty much grown into celebrities in their own right when you think about it. But in the same sense, the community feels so close knit. It just seems like if you ever go to these tournaments and you meet them, it's like really cool and laid back. You don't really feel nervous around them. You're just kind of, they have this sort of celebrity persona because you're watching them on stream. You're like halfway across the country. You're watching them play at a tournament. They're out there. They're part of this media that you're so involved in. But at the same time, they're just kind of a regular person like you who just really loves fighting games, and they really love the competition.
Yeah, they're not unapproachable.
Yeah, because I mean, out here in Houston, I've gone to a couple of the locals around here, like over at Smiley's Bar. For those of you that are in the Houston area that know about it, like I've been over there and I've met like a couple of people that go to Evo and everything. Like they're just all chill, laid back. They complain about the same things we complain about with some of the character balances. Like we sit there in the bar, we're sitting there playing games for like several hours, and then at the end of the night, like, all right, time to hit up that IHOPs or Denny's. And like they all really just like their games and they want to get better at them.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a fun. It really is like it's amazing to be a part of it in just any way. And I suggest you guys look into like shoryuken.com or eventhubs.com. Although I wouldn't really recommend Event Hubs. 8wayrun.com, dreamcancel.com. Just if you really like these fighting games and these fighting game series, just go out, join one of these forums or something, and just be a part of like promoting your game and helping to foster the growth of your community.
Well said.
And now, before we start to move out of this talk more, there's really not much to say. I really have much to say on the topic of like the matches that went down at Evo today. Today is it's just pools pretty much, and You know, for anyone that doesn't know, it's pretty much the opening round of like a tournament. That's all they're doing now. They're just weeding out everyone to get to, you know, the top players, the best of the best. And then Saturday and Sunday is when you really start getting the action. Saturday is kind of like playoffs, if you want to think of it in that sense. But before we can completely, I guess, leave the realm of fighting games, I know Blue and Majora are experts on the Smash Brothers series, Melee in particular. So I was curious if you guys could speak on that for a bit, because I've never been involved. I've never been involved in Smash Brothers in a competitive sense, and I was always curious to see how cool are like the players in that community. How approachable are they?
Well, more for Brawl is what I'm really into, and as far as, I mean, I've only been to a couple things, but I mean, at first it's just you're kind of nervous and stuff because they're just, a lot of them are, you know, they obviously know each other. They have the small local tournaments and all that kind of stuff. But it's a little intimidating, honestly, because I'm not to sound offensive or anything, but a lot of the times there are a lot of like really ghetto-y Spanish guys playing, and I'm just like, what's up? And like, oh man, look at this guy, he can't play for shit, yo, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is mildly irritating.
How can
But we did meet a few cool people though, right, Majora?
Yeah, we met a few cool people. They were pretty awesome.
But as in terms of Smash Brothers, I mean, I really do like the community in terms of like the people I've talked to online and stuff, because they'll help you out, and they're really into you know, trying to help you get better at it, and it's always nice to see things evolve. Like my main character Olimar, who was once number 8 on the tier list, has suddenly jumped to like number 1 below the banned Meta Knight, which I think is quite interesting and out of the blue.
It is always interesting when a metagame evolves. I'd actually like to one day discuss the Pokemon metagame, if possible, for a podcast.
Oh, that'd be a good one, yeah.
Yeah, that actually sounds like a great idea.
If we could just have a week leading up to it where we just play a lot of PO Simulator or something.
Most
and just
definitely.
Kind of talk what we love most about that metagame. But it's always fun to see a metagame evolve and change and see how, you know, you can find one little thing with the character that takes them from being bad to like great all of a sudden.
And that's another thing about Brawl that I love, especially compared to Melee, because let's all face it, any like tourney you ever watch on Melee, it's Fox, Falco, maybe like Marth, and that's about it. And then Brawl has a lot of characters like spread out. You'll see tournaments like with random characters winning. That's why I love Brawl. It's a lot more balanced than Melee ever was.
And another thing that I would like to add on to that too is like a personal, well, I wouldn't say it's a personal vendetta. I would probably say it's actually what it is. But in Melee, when you get hit, if for those who don't know, you could like do a thing called an air dodge, where you are complete for like a split second. You're immune to all damage because all attacks miss. But after doing so, if you're in the air, you're completely helpless. You're just, until you hit the ground, you're completely helpless. And in Melee, what a lot of people will do is they just, when they hit you once, they would knock you with another attack to send you into another hit and then to another hit, and they'll just combo you till you're dead. And they're literally like, you can't do anything. You just sit there and watch them pummel you across the screen until you die. But in Brawl, you can air dodge infinitely. Like, you don't have that helplessness factor. So if you're getting, you know, knocked around too much, you can air dodge as much as you want to get some, you know, bearing ground again, so you can maybe make a comeback. And that's one big advantage I think Brawl had over Melee, is that you actually have more of a chance to win when you do get pummeled like that.
And I do really enjoy the fact that when it comes to games like Brawl, compared to, like, for example, Marvel vs. Capcom, is if you're okay at Marvel vs. Capcom, you're like champion status where you can do infinites forever and whatnot. If you play against someone who mashes, you can lose. Like, it'll happen. But with Brawl, mashing doesn't get you anywhere. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, it has to be, you have to have the skill and the know-how, how to use the character, how to get those special, you know, the frames of when you're gonna get through and stuff. Like Olimar's invincibility frames when he does the down whistle is something that looks kind of useless at first glance, but it's one of the most helpful things ever, because you can use it, you'll take damage, but you're not gonna get the knockback that you would.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, it's stuff like that, and I feel like Brawl is, it's just, I love Brawl. I could talk about it forever, honestly.
One thing that I would like to see more of in the other games that that everyone else here has been talking about, like King of Fighters and UMVC 3 and such, and Tekken and all that. One thing that I would love to see more of in that community is the hacking community. And I know that sounds a little odd, but I've been in the Brawl hacking community for years now, and they have so many projects, whether it comes to adding new stages, adding new characters, and heck, even making the game more tournament friendly. I would like to see that more so in other games, like taking all the broken characters and, nerfing their damage, or, giving them more range of attack, just so that, it makes the game more fun. So all those characters you couldn't play as before because they couldn't do anything, now actually have a fighting chance. You get to just have more fun with your friends and such.
I do find that really interesting, like the Project M, which they're basically remaking Brawl into a more Melee-esque game, but they're completely changing the game. It's not Melee, it's not Brawl, it's a completely different game altogether. And the fact that just people coming together and working on that, or making a new game almost, just kind of blows my mind. And I really do love that about the Brawl hacking community.
I've seen some of the hacks they've done like in the past week just from talking to Majora, and some of it is like downright amazing. I've definitely got to get an SD card.
Yeah,
so that
I mean, they've ripped like Zero straight out of Tatsunoko versus Capcom and just put him into Brawl, just ripped him straight out. And there were a lot of bugs and stuff to fix, but the fact that they could do that is incredible.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
I actually I've always thought that Nintendo seems to be very opposed to people doing that, and I really wish that they would actually embrace that community, the whole hacking community, and kind of give them the tools to do what they want with the game, rather than kind of, hey, stop doing this, and every update tries to hinder their progress.
Just look at, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and use this as a segue into what we're playing for this week, because I think we've all talked enough about the video games and whatnot.
For now, at least.
But in terms of hacking and whatnot, I think they should open it, because look, for example, as long as you need the actual copy of the game, as long as you have that, I think Nintendo should definitely embrace it, because look at stuff like DayZ, which is what I've been playing. It's a mod for Arma 2, and that mod has single-handedly boosted the sales of this game by 600%. 600%. Like, no one was playing it, and then boom, it just exploded because everyone wants to play DayZ. It's the big hot new thing, and everyone's obsessed with it. And the fact that it can like make a game that much more popular, just imagine what it could do for something that Nintendo related,
Yeah, I'd like to. Oh, go ahead.
The idea among Nintendo is, you see, they're a console, and the way you get these hacks, it's pretty much like to them, it's more seen as a threat, because it's a way that can lead to piracy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a way that can lead to burn games and piracy. So they could, in the eyes of a developer or publisher for home consoles and the like, they could never support something like this.
Yeah,
ever.
but I mean, it's just an example. Like the Project M, you need the Brawl disc to play the game. You can't just like have a downloaded copy of it. Or you need Brawl, and if it got popular enough, I doubt it's going to, because it's not a huge, completely different thing like DayZ, for example.
Yeah.
But it could potentially sell copies of the game if it were a big thing, like DayZ is to Arma 2.
Yeah.
Going back to that, I know I'm gonna make it so that we can't go a single podcast without talking about Sonic, but I just recently got a gaming PC that's capable of playing high-end games, and I already bought Sonic Generations on the 360, but I'm going to buy it again on the PC simply because of all the mods they're adding to it. The fact that you can play stages from Unleashed and Adventure is really cool to me, and I'm gonna buy the game again just so I can do that.
Exactly, it's stuff like that, and I feel like if Nintendo, and they're not going to, because they're not really smart enough, unfortunately, but if they were smart enough, they would get behind a push like that, especially with the Wii U, where the graphics are going to be a lot nicer, and I'm sure people will like to hack away at that thing.
I mean, another game that I think is more also hack, friendly, a really big one, and that's like really up the sales of the game, is Minecraft. The developer basically said, yeah, make as many texture packs as you want, make as many mods as you want, and like, it literally, just like with Arma Day 2, sometimes Minecraft isn't even Minecraft anymore. I've seen one where they did like 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 they made it into like Black Ops 2 when you're like or Black Ops and they're just shooting zombies, like just like in Call of Duty, and that's nothing like Minecraft at all. It was ridiculous, and it just adds to the sales. But a lot of game developers are just scared that, well, if we give them this option, they're gonna pirate it and then we're not gonna get any money. But it's actually, quite frankly, the opposite.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of ways to make it, able to make money off of. Just look at Trials. I don't know if you guys have played Trials HD.
No, I've heard of it.
No, I've played it a little bit. It's pretty fun.
I mean, I was looking at the, they have level creation, and one of the levels I went into was like Haunted House Simulator, and I was like, what? Okay, what is that? And then I was expecting just a regular track from Trials. I go in, it is a first-person, like, game. And I'm just like, how do you do this with a game that's based on motorbike racing? That doesn't make any sense. Like 2D side-scrolling motorbike racing turned into a first-person like Haunted House Simulator. It's just stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. If you give the tools, see, that's the thing. I think if you give the tools to the people, then you can do it without being too worried about them having to go steal the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go ahead and start talking about what we've been playing this week. Who wants to go first?
I guess I can go. Can you guys? Does anyone else want to talk about maybe like recent pickups they got too? Anything new that you bought?
Well, I will announce real quick just the stuff, new releases for the week were The Secret World, Spelunky, and the At Rhythm Final Fantasy are probably the biggest ones that have come out this week.
I want Theater Rhythm so bad, but I don't have a 3DS yet. I want to play it so bad. And Secret World looks awesome, but I don't have a PC that can handle it.
Yeah, I actually went through a lot of trouble downloading DayZ. Like my laptop couldn't run it, but my PC or my friend's laptop couldn't because you just saw he thought it was a star like rotating on the screen because it's supposed to be like Arma 2 and Patriotic or whatever, but it was just the graphics weren't able to handle it, so it was just like blocking the entire thing with the white like star looking shape.
As far as what I've been playing this week, mostly Muramasa on the Wii. I've been getting back into practicing KOF 13 and finishing up Final Fantasy IV, the complete collection on PSP. And occasionally I'll throw in a little Mario Kart Wii Wi-Fi. That's always fun to dick
Can't
around
go wrong
on.
there.
Or can I?
Alright, Majora, what have you been playing?
Nothing too new. I have been playing a little bit more of Mario Kart Wii as well. I know that me and Captain Zarbi have been playing we played a few matches the other night, which was really fun. I've also been playing a little bit more of Minecraft. And I've been playing Minecraft on the PC more for some reason because after they've been adding more snapshots, so I've just been playing that mostly. And then I've also been struggling, but slowly but surely, I'm trying to take that 12-incher in my mouth and trying to play Sonic 06 and get it out of the way.
Why?
It hurts so much.
Work the shaft and cradle the balls.
It's so bad, it's so bad, but I love stories in games, even no matter how stupid they are, I still want to hear it. And I've been wanting for the longest time to know what the hell happens in this game, but it sucks so bad, I don't give a shit anymore. I'm skipping all the cutscenes. It's not even worth my damn time. I'll read it on the
Just skip it until you hit that amazing bestiality.
Oh no,
Majora.
no, I'm skipping that one. I ain't watching that again.
You've pretty much gotten to the point where you just, fuck it, I'm just gonna finish this game and never touch it again.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're not missing anything. The story's an absolute waste of time.
That's what I've heard,
Yep.
so I'm just been skipping it.
Alrighty, Gerps, what you been playing?
We've been playing some TF2 this week, and I started practicing KOF a lot again also since I recently had a bit of a car accident, so I can't really go out and do much of anything else. I've just been playing been playing Conquest a little bit too.
Yeah, buddy.
How are you liking Conquest?
I'm enjoying it. I'm still not very far. I think I've only done 4 or 5 stages, but I do like it a lot so far. Like I'm enjoying it a bunch.
I think we've all accidentally put that on the back burner.
Yeah, I don't know.
Focusing on that game again.
Too much coming out, man. It's just too many games.
Been buying too many games. I was waiting on the price to drop.
Yeah.
All right, Love Slug. What you been playing?
Actually, like I said, I just got a gaming PC this week, and so I've been wasting a lot of time on Team Fortress 2 with GURPS, and actually the Great Gazoo has been playing with us as well. If you guys remember him from an earlier podcast, and I also one of the games I mentioned in my top 10, Unreal Tournament 99. I've been playing that as well. I bought it on Steam, and playing a little more Conquest when I can, and then I actually played some Twisted Metal Black the other day. Hadn't played it before.
I heard that game is awesome.
was
It was actually really good. I mean, I watched some of the cutscenes from the story, and the story was absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not gonna get into that, but the gameplay is true to what it used to be. I mean, it was just good, stupid fun, and I would recommend it to anybody who liked Twisted Metal in the past.
Do you know how many players it is split screen? Cause shit, I could pick that up sometime soon here. Like next time I come back to San Antonio and everything too.
I'm not sure, because it was just me and one other guy playing, so it's just the two of us, but it may be 4. I'm not sure, though.
I imagine it is PS3.
Yeah, I'd look that up. But, yep, that's what I've been playing.
Alrighty, and for me, it's been lots of DayZ. Me and a friend of mine have been playing lots. It was a little trouble to set up, but honestly, it's a fun game. It's hard though. You start with nothing. You used to start with a gun, and the newest patch for it, you start with bandages and painkillers, and that's about it. And then the worst part is, unfortunately, right now, it's nighttime. You know where we are. It's also nighttime in the game, and it's real time, so it's. I don't know. I mean, you can play it at nighttime. I honestly find it really hard to play when it's night, just because you can't see your foot in front of your face. It's really bad. Like you can't. You're just walking around looking at where am I, and then you'll just run into a zombie and like, oh, that's cool. But it's really intense. If you're one of those people that play on hard mode on every game you ever play, you will love this game, and it's fun. Don't get me wrong. When you found some guns, it was really fun, but you just gotta be sneaky. And you have to play the first chunk until you get a weapon, like it's like Splinter Cell, basically.
Are you going to be recording any of your playtime on there? Because I kind of want to see a little bit more of it, too.
I've honestly been thinking about it, but just for the fact that it literally takes so long to find a weapon. And even just if you wanted to play with each other, it took me 3 hours to find my friend. We kept trying to, we even used a map. Like, it doesn't come with one in the game until you find it. So we loaded a map up on one of the computer screens, and we were trying to find each other, but it took us like 3 hours because the game is huge. It is ridiculous. But I would like to record some. Maybe I could try to set it up once I find a weapon and stuff, because before finding a weapon, it's honestly pretty boring to watch. But otherwise that, I've been playing Rage of the Colossus. I mean, Shadow of the Colossus, and that game has been... That game has been really hurting my ass, honestly, because it's really pretty, and it's beautiful, and it's a nice game. It's a good game, don't get me wrong. But honestly, I just feel like it's moderately cheap in the way that it will just constantly shake you. And the bosses take you forever to beat, but not because they're really hard. It's just because you get on them, you'll stab them maybe once, and then they'll just shake and shake and shake, and you barely get a chance to stab again before your meter runs out. If it's a boss you can walk on, then you're lucky, and you can just stay on top of the boss. But if not, you'll have to fall down and try to get up his ass again. And right now, I'm actually have my PS3 paused. Waiting to beat the final boss, which has been an ass so far. So that's what I've been doing. And also, it was on sale for $14. I don't know if that sale's still going on, but if it is, I highly recommend picking up on PSN. And that's what I've been playing.
Yeah.
So I guess we will go on to some news now.
Fuck yeah.
I got a little story about this. Apparently, rumors of a PS3 Super Slim, I guess some people are calling it, coming out because they bought a new model number, they filed for it and all that stuff. And a lot of people are thinking it's going to be announced that it's going to be announced later this year. And I don't understand why they would have a new PS3 at this point, honestly.
Why does Sony like to hurt themselves?
Sony, what the fuck are they doing?
I guess we can give our shitting of the bed to Sony, because that wouldn't make any sense for them to have a new PS3.
It's like they like losing money. It's so retarded.
We can give the award of shitting the bed this week to Sony and the Tales of fan base, because in other news today, Tales of Xillia was announced for localization, and
yeah.
the other day the fan base scared themselves into thinking the big announcement was just that someone could win a signed copy of the Japanese release of Xillia.
Why did they jump the gun so much? They flipped out about nothing.
Because there was an interview with Hideo, and they freaked out. They just, oh, that's the surprise. Fuck this, fuck everything.
Wow.
And then today, only to find out we are getting Xillia, and they, oh, I love you, Namco. Why?
That's where you get those you done goofs like the fuck your mother, fuck your daughter,
Fuck your daughters.
Oh
that
god.
was one angry fan, but he showed Axis he cares
in his own special way.
And Majora, you had a little news tidbit, didn't you? Majora?
Man down, man down.
Maybe not.
I'm a dummy. I had my mic on mute anyway.
Okay.
Apparently, the developers of the Turtle Beach headsets are actually working on some headsets to release along with the Wii U and for the 3DS. So I think that's kind of cool, but I don't know how that's... Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work.
It's like...
Yeah, they announced a partnership apparently, and that got me pretty excited because honestly, I've been wanting to get a pair of like Turtle Beaches for my Xbox, but maybe I'll just wait and get some for the Wii U because that'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I just don't know how
I'm
that
not
works.
one to really
Phones.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm not really one to care about these headphones that cost like $200 or plus. Like, yeah, they have good quality, but I mean, like, why? I wish more of these. I wish consoles in general would let you use whatever headset you want and just kind of plug it in. Like, all right, now I have surround sound with my shitty headphones that, or not even like shitty. Like, it's just cheaper. Like, why should I have to spend $200?
I mean,
to get
there
the best
definitely are
sound?
cheaper. I know there's like $50 versions for the Xbox from Turtle Beach.
50 is still a lot.
I guess so.
Yeah, it kind of is.
But still, that's exciting to hear. 3DS, this sounds a little odd because I don't see that many people multiplayer gaming on their 3DS. But maybe when Smash Brothers Next Gen comes out, who knows?
I'd admit it'd be amusing to see some people rocking Turtle Beaches playing their 3DS in the park or something.
You'd look like fucking Radio.
Jesus Christ.
Oh man. So Captain Zarbi.
Yes.
You have also played and GURPS 2, the demo for Resident Evil 6.
Yeah, I did want to talk about this. It is so beyond good. Awesome.
Like I feel like it is a straight step up from 5. Like 5, there were times when it felt a bit clunky because I don't remember exactly, but Captain Zarbi, could you walk and shoot in that one? I don't remember that. Yeah,
no.
And I'm glad that you're finally able to fucking walk and shoot. Like, that was the one thing that always confused me about the series itself is, all right, I have a gun. Why am I going to stand still and aim at this damn zombie that's running at me and try to turn around, shoot, like, put my gun away, turn around, walk away again, turn around again, shoot some more? Why go through all that? I could just backpedal and shoot.
Well, a lot of people argue that the tank controls add a little bit of the horrorness to those games, but I feel like I understand where they're coming from with that. But I really am happy that you're able to shoot around.
After playing the demo, people are really just whining, in my opinion, because they're saying, oh, they're killing off the survival horror aspect, and then
but that's why you have Leon. Leon is that. Chris is for all the people who loved, the super action-y stuff, and I honestly don't even know what the hell Jake's for, but...
In all honesty, when's the last time Resident Evil has been, like, pure survival horror?
Exactly. It's
only the original really is pure survival horror. Every other one...
Since, like you said, after 1.
And even for fans that don't want to hear that, I'm always hearing, like, negativity about the co-op aspect. Like, why do you have to have a co-op partner? Like, even if you don't play, why is the AI partner still there? They shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have forced us to do that. But I just think, and I'm like, really, if you really want to think about it, the series has really been headed down this direction since, like, Code Veronica X. Possibly even before that. The series has long been headed down this road, and Possibly the comparison I hate most is when people say, well, Dead Space still has it right, they still got it. Because if you ever played 2, Dead Space 2 turned into an action game halfway through.
I mean, even
playing Halo.
Yeah, and even like Dead Space 2 did it right for at least a good chunk. Dead Space 3 is gonna be straight just like Halo, basically. It's just gonna be action and that's it. That's even the demo for E3 of Dead Space 3 was just pure action. There was no horror
But
at
if
all.
you think of the way the story has gone itself, like he knows what he's fighting now. He knows what he has to do to like defeat them. At first it was oh shit, what the fuck is like these like space zombies and shit coming at me? I don't know what to do. But now he's like, all right, I know my enemy.
That's what I reiterate. It's the characters have to mature at some point. That's how they mature in the game, and they know what they're fighting against. The game's not part of the fear comes from your character being scared. They're not gonna be scared anymore. They know what they're fighting. But
I feel like a lot of the time with the like I understand that the character knows and stuff, and they prepare themselves. But if you're, I feel like a good enough writer, you can take the character and put them in a situation they are not going to be able to handle. Like take away like their preparedness, put them somewhere where they're stripped of all their shit. You know, pull a Metroid and fucking wipe them of all their good shit, and just have them with basic stuff and struggle to survive, even though they have the knowledge.
That takes away all the development you just spent.
Yeah, and like, are you even playing Resident Evil at that point if you were to do that?
People will say like, okay, here's how you fix that. Make a new character every game. How are you really gonna build your brand up with new characters every single game and like, no ties to the last game? Yes, that's Final Fantasy. It's an RPG, but I mean, really, you think about Resident Evil. If it's gonna have this long interconnected story like that, then
okay, yeah, with
a new character.
I'd say that's true.
You
either choose the interconnected story, or you choose having a new character.
Separate, like Final Fantasy, yeah.
Or like Fatal Frame, for example, is a really good example.
Fatal Frame also has a lot of ties to the other ones. I mean, three is pretty much like a sequel to 1.
And they're still scary though. That's for damn sure.
Well, you know what? You know what? That's because ghosts are scary, Blue. They're scarier than zombies, and that's a fact.
Fuck ghosts. Like, I think the thing is, like people that are clamoring for like a survival horror game, like just wait till The Last of Us comes out. That looks exactly what you're asking for. Like, I mean, I know we said this in our first podcast, but that's like the epitome of fucking survival horror right there, really, in my opinion.
And I think as far as going back to the what we were talking about is the co-op thing, I understand, like, it would have been better if they did, if you're playing single player, you don't have to have the co-op person there. The thing is, this one at least they do stuff. They shoot stuff. They're not just standing there being a piece of shit like Sheva. They're much better than Sheva, which is good to hear. But in terms of like having to go to a door, and then if you're too far away from your partner, you have to wait until they run up, all that stuff, I could see, you know, that'd be really annoying and whatnot. But honestly, the playing co-op is just so worth it. I feel like it's almost the way you should play the game, just because it's so much more fun having someone else there. Because I know playing Resident Evil 5 was fun, but having someone else play with you is so much fun. I loved 5 because of the co-op.
Yeah, like me and Captain Zarbi, we marathoned 5 over the course of like a single week, didn't we? Like it was like a week or two, wasn't it?
For 5, we beat 1 run through in like 2 days.
Yeah.
The game looks pretty awesome though, and I do like the whole how you can basically if there's like an explosion or someone knocks you back, you can land on your back and just shoot from laying on your back, which is awesome.
Right now, it's only for superior Dragon's Dogma owning players.
Shut your mouth.
It's just the way it is.
And one thing I am nervous about, and I did watch a lot of the demos, I watched all 3 of the demos, the loading times look kind of shitty, and that better not be how the real game is, because it was loading screens every couple like things into like another scene, and they were long loading screens. They were getting dangerously close to 06 loading screens. That was a little scary to watch.
That could be someone's hard drive speed, because they weren't really long when I played.
Yeah, they were really short for me.
But they were frequent, were they not?
What?
I said they might have been short for you, but they are pretty more frequent than you'd like. Am I correct?
I don't know. It was in most cases the loading screens I don't really notice, or they don't bother me as much, because the game's pretty cinematic.
Right.
to the point where I don't know why I don't really notice them as much, or they don't bother me. And like I said, mine were fairly short. Is yes, the game is very cinematic, in Leon's part especially.
Yeah. But all right. What are we? Are we all wrapped up? What are we moving on to now, you guys?
I think we're gonna. Do we want to wrap this up with a case of you done goofed?
Oh, why not?
Alrighty then.
Lay it on us.
Everybody, it's time for You Done Goofed with Captain Zarbi.
Okay, this first post comes to us courtesy of 4chan, so this user's anonymous. They get to save face. But basically, his comment was just FYI, this is probably the most criminal retail institution in the world at the moment. Supporting them for the sake of games make you a faggot corroding society for the sake of shitty Jap hordes.
Wow.
And mind you, this was him. He was talking, they had a thread about Sony. It had something to do with the PS3, and this guy, he just let his hate all spill out. Note, he had to get the word faggot in there somewhere to make his point.
Was this V or VG?
I believe it was V.
All right, good on you, V.
This was before the board split.
Oh, okay.
See, our next one comes to us from YouTube from DBCRDN Fanatic. It'll be a glorious day when God brings his wrath upon our shitty country. We deserve it, and I will welcome it with open arms.
What?
This one was hilarious to me because it was on an IGN preview video for a game.
What?
And I had no clue why he posted it, and like I could not stop laughing. I could not stop laughing. He just posted it up there.
That's special.
It takes a very steady hand.
Apparently.
This one comes to us courtesy of Shoryuken, which is always fun. And in this article, they were comparing the sales numbers of fighting game series, and Shoryuken is notorious for hating Smash Brothers out of principle. They don't want to think of it as a competitive game in any sense, and they hate when anyone considers it as such, and they just fly off into a little fit. They have a Diaper Boy Saga fit, and
it's Pamper Chew.
basically the sales numbers were Brawl sold like 10 million copies worldwide, and then the next closest I think was Street Fighter with like 4 or 5 million. And so basically one of them said, those numbers are old. Still, Tekken is the biggest fighting game franchise. MVC3 had 2 million sold way back in March. Super Smash Bros. Brawl only done well in 2008. Up until now, it sold 10 million. But it still has a long way to go to catch up with Street Fighter and Tekken. Actually, MVC3 has the biggest audience and even bigger franchises than Mario. Example,
What?
Spider-Man is a bigger franchise than Mario, hands down. But not all from the audience is buying the game.
My God.
If so, the game would sell around 100 million copies. Or more.
Yeah, okay. Half of the U.S. is gonna
That's
buy
what kills me.
fucking
He ends it with, or more.
Or
This reply like summed it up perfectly. Someone just replied to him with, "What the fuck are you babbling about?" The kid, he had nothing to back up his argument that the sales were way too old and that Tekken somehow was more popular than Smash Brothers. So that's just a taste of what you'll get if you become part of Shoryuken. You can expect that on a regular basis. Now, really, this next one is another Shoryuken one, but it's pretty long, so I'm just kind of gonna, I'm gonna condense it a little bit. Basically, the first post was he was discussing what he hated about Marvel 3, namely, he hated that they made the update, they made Ultimate, and they still didn't put Mega Man in it. That was still just really bugging him. And he was talking about the balance. He was like, they're so stupid with their balance, they can never get it right. And then this is when the argument begins, starting with Fernando Deadpool Ferrari. Looks like you don't read properly, don't know anything about the game, and whining about Mega Man. Stay free. Eric, wow, stupid troll will be a stupid troll. What didn't I read properly? If you're gonna respond, be constructive. God, this is why I hate Capcom butthurt faggots. Because all their responses are like yours, Fernando. And your writing to me is herpa derpa. Fernando. Really? I'm a troll? You are always crying on every Capcom news about UMBC 3 and Mega Man. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Stop being a little girl. Also, do you think the can add so many changes in a patch? You are not modifying hitboxes or frame data. They are modifying a lot of stuffs. Ryu is the big example for this. Also, She-Hulk obtained a air dash. The lack of knowledge you have about the game is really notorious. Ryu overpowered? Really? I thought Logan and Phoenix were the OP ones. Stay free.
Oh god.
And,
That was good.
That sounds about right for the Marvel community.
and by cutting it short, he stopped the war a couple years short and saved many SRK posters' lives. Okay, now I'm gonna end this one out with the doozy. It's short, but I think it'll send everyone reeling. I was on 4chan the other day when I found this in a VG thread, a fighting games thread actually, when someone asked if he should buy a copy of Street Fighter on the 360, what he got in response was, "Online gaming is general and dead on Xbox Live."
Oh my god.
Wow! Are you
Say
shitting
that
me?
what you will,
Like,
it derailed the entire thread. Everyone spent the rest of the thread yelling at that kid, and it was honestly one of the funniest things I've walked into.
my
going,
god.
What?
That is possibly
He
the
has-
dumbest comment I have ever heard.
Yeah,
PS4 is
seriously.
just about dead because there's hardly a community because no one can fucking talk to each other.
I read it and like I tried to question it so much in my head, like, okay, where could he possibly get data that would just corroborate his story? Where is he pulling this from? But then I just, I figured it out. He's just an idiot. This guy just looks at Xbox Live. He goes into search match on Xbox Live, sees like 100 rooms, and just, no one's on today. Time to leave. And I don't understand it. It blew my mind.
Well, that was special. Thank
And
you for
all
that
these
one.
people have goofed.
That was You Done Goofed with Captain Zarbi.
Good note
And-
to end on.
And that does wrap it up for us, you guys. So, until next time, this has been Captain Zarbi.
Well, PlayStation All Stars comes out October 23rd. Yeah.
Why? Why?
Get out. Brawl 2 comes out later.
God damn it. Alright, and GURPS.
I am still mad at SoCal.
Love Slug.
Stay chilly, Free Willies.
PSI Majora.
I'll see you guys later.
And before I sign out, seriously, guys, start commenting. Like,
Yeah,
come
please,
on.
come
God,
on.
Jesus
come on.
Christ.
Come on.
What do you want from us? What do we have
what
to
do I
do
have
to
to
get
do?
you to
Do I have to
comment?
go out there and do I have to give a handy to every dude out there? do I have to perform a sexual act on every person out there just to get a comment? That's all I want. One comment, even if it's just first. It's the dumbest comment in the world, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Anything to get us through the day.
I would like more productive comments, you guys, if possible. So please,
We really
please
do just
comment.
we want feedback. We want to be able to interact with people that are actually listening to us. Like we see that we're getting like 50 plus views on like all of these. Why is no one commenting? There's no reason for it.
And honestly, you guys, like I would love to. I know we only have I only have 100 something subscribers. When it gets bigger, I really like to have a community, and I really like you guys to talk. And we'll talk back. We will gladly spend half an hour just talking about comments if you want. So, you guys, come on, we're here. Just comment. You guys comment on my Let's Plays. You guys, come on, comment on the
And I don't,
podcast.
you know what I don't get is the people who are listening to this and who didn't comment, you know who you are. I don't know how you're able to get through your day knowing the guilt that is tearing apart your hearts, knowing you didn't comment on one of our videos. So please comment.
You're
Yeah.
a real monster. I just hope you know that.
Lastly, don't make us do this again. This is twice in a row now. Don't make us do it again. I swear to God.
Oh God, you guys. So yes, please comment, and that's about that's about it. So until next time, this has been BlueZenigame. Have a great day, night, afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are, and I will see you guys later.